Hello and welcome to this very special episode. Today, after much humming and hawing, we are finally ready to test fire our freshly rebuilt 87 CBR 1000 engine. Now, these things are always a little nerve-wracking. The thing turns over easily by hand. As I say, pretty confident we did everything correctly, but the proof of the pudding's in the eating. So, give you kind of an overview of our setup here. So we have a fan in case the bike doesn't cool sufficiently. We can turn on the fan to make sure it keeps cool. We have our rebuilt motor nestled in its frame. The ignition system's all set up. Coolant system's filled up. The bike's basically there mechanically, except for the chain we've left off because we're replacing the chain and sprockets. We've got a temporary battery set up, along with a voltmeter. And I've bolted these on just to reduce the potential for spark in the area, because right next to it is our gas tank. So doing this will allow me to to connect and disconnect the battery without risking generating spark right next to that fuel line there. Now the fuel line itself, of course it doesn't match because that would be too easy. So I've just kind of jammed it down the throat there. And we'll have to see if it holds. If it starts leaking, we'll need to cut the test short. Now our planned test, we are planning to run 20 minutes at 2,000 RPM. That'll kind of give the rings a little bit of a head start getting seated. And you don't want to necessarily idle a fresh engine. You want to make sure to keep those RPMs a little bit high, just to, I guess it's for the health of the engine. Now we are planning for either a celebration or a funeral. So we got ourselves some of the nice stuff here. Single cask, single malt, and yeah, nothing's too fancy. You know, truth be told, can't afford the fancy stuff. But either way, it'll serve to drown our tears or celebrate a victory. To be determined. Now for the exhaust, I've hooked up some what'd you call that? I don't know, flex pipe or, I don't know. Came from the garden store, but it works well enough for this. I'm not going to rest it against the exhaust tips because that would risk melting, but we'll get the majority of the exhaust out of the area. And the reason we're not holding this test outside is because it happens to be Canada in December. So, we unfortunately will not be able to road test this thing for a few months. So we're working in a well-ventilated area. We've got plenty of circulation. You'll hear that furnace kick on because its temperature is going to start dropping here. But without further ado, let's prime the carbs. And we'll want to keep an eye there for fuel leaks. Pull up our timer. Now what I realistically expect to see is coolant leaks. I definitely expect to see coolant leaks. Not sure if the carbs will let us run a full 20 minutes. Probably end up choking out. Because I know they're gummed up. I haven't rebuilt them yet or cleaned them up yet. That's going to be another day. But anyway, the bike was running before, so I don't think it will be a problem to actually keep it running. But we'll see if they can cooperate. So, without further ado, see if she runs. turns over easily. Turn the choke on. So timer's ended, and the bike ran without really too many problems. Seemed to want to run a little hot, which is a concern. We definitely noticed some coolant leaks, especially up right around the thermostat housing. So right around this hose fitting here. So we'll tighten that up and see if that fixes the problem. I tried to do that while it was running, but not sure if it was really very effective. Definitely stunk like burning oil, which happens when you start an engine for the first time. It's nothing to worry about. The smell of burning coolant as well should be familiar. Yeah, other than that, very, very happy with how things went. She ran fine. The carbs are a little out of balance. They're definitely going to need some love. And possibly the fuel pump might be on its way out because it seemed like it wanted to run on choke, but it didn't want to run, if I turned choke off, it didn't want to run as well. So maybe some kind of minor fuel delivery problem. Could even be a clogged fuel filter, which is definitely a possibility. Fuel filters are a pretty common culprit in these sort of situations. But yeah, as I say, that went about as well as anyone could have hoped. So thanks again for watching, and see you in the next one.